Ukraine will receive a new military aid package from Germany. It will include important weapons that have long been requested by Kiev, German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius says. Germany will provide Ukraine with 4 more Iris-T air defense systems with missiles and another 30 missiles for the Patriot systems. He also said that the leaders would discuss Ukraine's request to produce missiles under license locally. What else will be included in Germany's new aid package to Ukraine? According to the Bundeswehr, the package also includes 15 Leopard 1 main battle tanks, reconnaissance drones and an additional 100,000 pieces of artillery ammunition. What the entire package includes: 4 Iris-T anti-aircraft missile systems with 300 guided missiles, 15 Leopard 1A5 main battle tanks, 300 reconnaissance drones, 120 man-portable air defense systems, 14 artillery systems, 100 ground surveillance radars, 30 Patriot guided missiles, 25 Marder infantry fighting vehicles, 100,000 pieces of ammunition. Pistorius also announced the prospects for the delivery of new Iris-T systems in the coming years, as well as 1,100 additional ground surveillance radars. Pistorius was also asked about plans to create a support force that could include European troops in Ukraine, but he said he would prefer not to discuss such issues in the world markets and remain reasonable and ambitious. "We will find a way to go where we have to go, but up until then, we should rather discuss that internally than publicly," he said. As reported earlier, European defense ministers recently held new talks on the potential deployment of troops to Ukraine. Britain and France on Thursday convened a meeting of defense ministers from around 30 countries to press ahead with plans to deploy troops to Ukraine to police any future peace agreement with Russia. According to Associated Press, the meeting at NATO headquarters, the first of the so-called coalition of the willing at the level of defense ministers to refine the planning, comes after a visit to Kiev last week by senior British and French military officers. As usual with coalition gatherings, the United States will not take part, but the success of the coalition's operation hinges on U.S. backup, with air power or other military assistance. However, the Trump administration has made no public commitment that it will do so. Amid that uncertainty and U.S. warnings that Europe must take care of its own security and that of Ukraine in future, the force is seen as a first test of the continent's willingness to defend itself and its interests. Its makeup will depend on the nature of any peace agreement, but the contingent is unlikely to be monitoring borders. Rather, it would be based further away from the ceasefire line, perhaps even outside Ukraine, and deploy to counter any Russian attack. Building a force big enough to act as a credible deterrent, UK officials have talked about possibly 10,000 to 30,000 troops, is proving a considerable effort for nations that shrank their militaries after the Cold War but are now rearming. Countries are also reluctant to contribute personnel without U.S. support. On Friday, representatives from around 50 nations will gather at NATO to drum up military support for Ukraine. That meeting will be chaired by Britain and Germany. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is not expected to take part.
Good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
What are you expecting out of today's meeting?
First time in NATO.
Hopefully it will be productive.
Any concrete outcomes to expect?
After the meeting.
Good afternoon. So we can do a lot ourselves. We can do a lot as European nations. We have a lot of our own capabilities. At the same time, yes, still there are the details must be carved out how we cooperate with our partners. We believe strongly in transatlantic linkage. We believe that again those formats like Rammstein must be sustained, where US is also part of, but there are also other formats where US might not be part of. And I guess fairly enough that in our neighborhood, in European neighborhood, we Europeans should be able also to deal efficiently with aggressor countries, especially taking into account our capacities, our capabilities, our will also to, of course, invest in those challenging times that we are all facing.
We are seeing that Russia doesn't have enough desire for peace, so it's highly important that we are strengthening the Ukraine's position in military, in industrial field, and also at the financial field, and also increase the pressure for Russia to come to the negotiation table. And of course we are today having also the briefings from the military side that what kind of could be these security arrangements after the peace ceasefire or some kind of peace treaty.
From the Swedish position, we said it's important with some form of US engagement. I think it's important to make an assessment how this will affect NATO's other DDA activities, defense and deterrence activities, and of course there had to be some sort of rules of engagement. But once again, it's a bit early to tell, and our focus predominantly right now is on supporting the Ukrainians as much and providing the Ukrainians with the new support packages. And that's our key focus right now.
Well, we are constantly working with this. It is also in the interest of the United States that there is stability and peace in Europe, because it is what is happening in Ukraine and how this war ends also has an impact on other security theaters like Asia Pacific, for example. So it's also in the interest of the United States.
But can we